I have a word. Do not allow anyone to stop you from doing what God has called you to do. There will be times when Satan will try to put people in your path to stop you. He put people in your path. He puts things in your path to stop you from doing what God has called you to do. You have to make up in your mind that I'm going for it, what it is that God is calling you to do, and you're not allowing anybody or anything to stop you from doing what God called you to do. When God told me to move, I had to move. I had to leave where I was at. For over 40 years I had been there, and God told me to move. And I had to pack up, and ever since I moved, doors been opening up for me. But can you imagine if I would allow things to get in the way and stop me? I'd have first off been disobedient, and I would have been out of. There would have been no. Here's the thing: the grace lifts off of where God. When God tells you to move, that means the grace is off of where you were. The grace is on where you're supposed to go. That's God puts grace where you're supposed to go. But where you're not supposed to be, there's no grace. The grace then lifted. And just imagine just missing out on opportunities because you've allowed people to say you can't do it, or they just simply get in your way, or basically you're doing something for others and you're not doing what God told you to do. You're basically doing something else. And I'm going to say this. I'm even go as far as saying this because I feel like God is putting this. When God tells you to get out of a relationship and he has somebody else for you, you're delaying that season. And then some people want God to bless what he's not in. If God's not in that relationship, he's not blessing it. And God won't put the new wine with the old wine. There's no way. So until you remove that person, I don't know who that's for, but until you remove that person, God won't give you what you're supposed to get. And you want God to bless what you are with, but you chose that. He didn't choose that for you. He didn't choose that man or that woman for you. You chose them. And now you want God to bless it. And God said, I got something else for you, but you got to let that go. And I remember just decades, many, many moons ago, I was in a bad relationship and God gave me the strength. He said, I'm not going to remove the person. You gotta move them, move away from them. You know, I had to basically leave them alone, but God gave me strength to stay away from them. God gave me strength. This was many, many moons ago. I was very, very young then, but God gave me strength to come out of that relationship and to stay away from that person. But God didn't knock on the door and remove the person for me. I had to let that person go. And it was very hard, but I did it. And then God brought me Mr. Gillespie, my husband that passed away. That's how I got that blessing. But I had to remove what I was dealing with first. Because that wasn't who God chose for me. And I wanted God to bless that relationship, and he would not. God wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It was very toxic. And I wanted God to bless it. And he said, I didn't give you that person. So I don't know who that's for, but you're delaying your season. You are delaying the season that God wants you to be in. Sometimes we could delay a season. It's just like the Israelites. They, instead of them doing what God told them to do, they took forever in the wilderness because they did it their own way. I pray that this word helps you. Do not allow anything to get in your way. Here's the thing. Life is so short, and there's so much that God has for you to do. There's so much that God has for you to do. And sometimes you can be in the wrong place where God ain't called you to be. He didn't told you to go move somewhere and you didn't move. He didn't told you to go apply for a certain job because he's got people waiting on you. I don't believe that you'd have missed it, but I think you need to get moving on it. Because God can give you back what the enemy stole, because it's the enemy that's trying to steal it. But I believe truly that you got to move and do what God called you to do, for sure. I pray that this word helps you. God bless you. Be blessed.